I've picked up a few people for my podcasts who wrote a cold outreach when they list exactly what they can talk about that will benefit my audience. Like what's in it for my listeners, not your benefit or your amazing credentials.
Right. We don't care how amazing you are.
It's the Inspiration Place podcast with artist Miriam Schulman. Welcome to the Inspiration Place podcast, an art world insider podcast for artists by an artist, where each week we go behind the scenes to uncover the perspiration and inspiration behind the art. And now, your host, Miriam Schulman.
All right. So this is our first segment of Kvetch and Kvell, or is it Kvell and Kvetch? And I'm joined by my friend and counterpart, the podcast host of the Front Row podcast for entrepreneurs. Well, hey there, Jen. Welcome to the Inspiration Place.
Hey, Miriam. I am so excited about this conversation.
Me too. Before we get into that, do you know who's on the cover of ARP this month?
Oh my God. Please don't tell me like who.
Well, somebody from our generation.
Yeah,
That's right. Exactly.
You could be like Doogie Howser, who's even younger than we are. Who?
No. Brooke Shields.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. She looks good. And you know what I like about her is that she's very natural in her aging. Like you can tell she's just kind of aging.
She's had some work.
She has some wrinkles.
But I like her. I mean, I like her. I don't judge.
I like her too.
And I liked her back in the day. I just thought she was the most beautiful person I had ever seen. But yeah, she's like a mom and But here's the question for you. Did you have bushy eyebrows in the 80s? I mean, I've never plucked. So
really?
I wouldn't say they were bushy, but I did try to brush them up like her, you know?
Yeah, I had very bushy eyebrows and now they're very plucked. Because I'm going down with this aging process, like clawing my way as they drag me into it.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever I can do, I'm doing.
There was this man on TikTok yesterday. He's like a doctor, and the title of his TikTok was like, 10 things you need to stop doing if you're 50 or above. And then he was like, don't get on ladders.
What?
And right. And so I went straight to the comments to see if anybody else was kind of like offended like I was. And people were like, dude, you're at least 1 decade off. He was like, I'm an Iron Man. Exactly. He's like, I'm an Iron Man. Don't tell me I can't get on.
Like maybe when I'm in my 70s and I'm on osteoporosis drugs, I'll stay off a ladder. But
so annoying. He was old. I mean, he was probably 70, the doctor, I mean, he appeared to be about that age. Like, don't lump me in with you, honey. I'm the, I got a little ways to go before you tell me to not get on a ladder. Come on.
Totally.
So, we're already kvetching.
I know. Okay. So let's go to the Kvell then.
You want to start with the Kvell?
I will. I cut out an article weeks ago that I've never read, but I kind of skimmed it and I liked what I skimmed, and I think you'll like it too.
All right.
Okay, so this is from the Wall Street Journal from April 3rd. You probably already talked about it on your Alexa briefings.
Mm-hmm.
But it says, ad industry makes AI images less AI-like. But the one thing I skimmed and saw that I loved, that I want everyone to hear, or I'm going to have trouble finding it. Oh, where is it? Okay, somewhere in here, which I'm not going to be able to find now, is that they said that in order to make it less AI-like, even when they use AI, they actually have to use just as many people as they did before. Does that make sense?
You're saying you're loving that because it didn't displace anyone.
That's
People still have a job.
That's correct.
Yes. Okay.
That's correct. So wait, let me see if I can find the exact quote. All right. So in the picture that they show, so our YouTube people will see it, our podcasters won't, is they show a Dalmatian in the middle of zebras.
That's very cool.
It's very cool. But in order to come up with that, right? Okay. Surrealist close-up photograph, Kodachrome, a spotted Dalmatian among a group of zebras. So top production studio tool used AI to make a rendering of animals. But in order to make it look less AI-like, Gosh, I'm not finding it. Hold on. And to create that AI look, some marketing companies are working with talent not usually called upon in advertising circles. And then, where is it that they said they use just as much people? I'm not seeing it now. Okay, I'm just going to read it. Ready? For commercial artists and advertisers, generative AI has the power to massively speed up the creative process, blah, blah, blah. But there's a catch. Many images AI models generate feature cartoonish smoothness, telltale flaws, or both, and consumers are already turning against that AI look. They don't like it. So in order to make it look more natural, I'm not going to find it, but yeah, anyway, I'm never going to find it because it's kind of like asking your dog to do a trick when your friends come over.
Well, I have a Kvell.
Good. All right, go ahead.
It's funny because this is actually very apropos because just the other day, maybe it was yesterday, you said, I got to get out of here. I need to go. I can't get work done. I'm distracted. I'm going to a co-working space.
Oh, it worked, by the way. It was great. And they had free macaroni and cheese.
Well, you texted and said it's noisy in here.
Oh, it was.
Okay.
It was noisy.
So,
but I like the mac and cheese.
I mean, that sounds pretty good. And the key actually to co-working spaces, which I'm sure you know, is like you put headphones on.
I did put headphones on, but the people at my table were so rude. One was having a call and then he finally got into a phone booth. And then at the next table, 2 people were like watching a video together. So I guess I'm still kvetching. But I did get a lot of work done.
We should
just
skip the Kvells. Like, let's just go straight into the Kvetch because that's what we really want to do. Come on. But
I got a lot of work done because anytime I was going to do something on my laptop that was not what I decided I was going to the co-working space to do was not allowed.
Okay.
So it did create that container that anytime I was working, it was for my project.
That's good.
Shopping on Fresh Direct.
Well, yeah, that is good. Or playing with your cat.
Yes.
So public library, hello. I mean, and I've done full-on live streams about the public library, but every time I go to the library, I'm like, I love the library because for so many reasons. Personally, when I am preparing a presentation, a webinar, they're usually digital presentations, but funny enough, I really don't like to plan them out digitally. I want to spread out across the space. So at our library and most libraries, they've got those giant work tables, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. Headphones help. So it just tells people to stay away. I'm not listening to something in the headphones, by the way. I'm just telling people don't bother me. And airplane, family, whatever you got, grocery store, I don't care, but I'm not antisocial that much. And the bigger the headphones, the better, because with long hair, you can't really see the earbuds. So like having like your podcasting headphones on your head, very helpful. Anyway, I love that you could spread out. Also, at our library, and come on, Miriam, in New York, you got like the greatest libraries in the world there. And they're inspiring places because you're surrounded by books and I love to be inspired. Then we also have rooms that totally free. You can reserve rooms and they're fantastic. You go into these rooms and literally they're like, there's a window, but you face a wall or you're in one of those like cubby things. They have sides on it. And the door is behind you. You can lock the door so you don't have to worry about somebody coming in on you. And it's just turn your phone off. And it is like the most amazing focus chamber. So that's my first Kvell.
Hey, I just have to interrupt this juicy conversation to tell you that enrollment is open for the Artist Incubator Inner Circle. Now, if you're wondering how Jen and I met, it was through a mastermind program. And that's why I feel these mastermind programs are so highly effective because you have these friendships that come out of them. You get this support that goes way beyond the length of the program. Now, later on in this episode, I'm going to be telling Jen about how I set up accountability cohorts, or I also call them pods, inside my regular artist incubator. So if you're interested in just doing the incubator program, you will be able to join one of these DIY cohorts. However, if you want my support and my ongoing personalized input on your artist journey and facilitating this mastermind cohort, then that's what the Inner Circle is really all about. Now, it is by application only, and there are limited spots. So to learn more, head on over to schulmanart.com/BIZ as in biz. That's schulmanart, schulmanart.com/letter B as in boy, letter I as in ice cream, letter Z as in zebra. schulmanart.com/biz. All right, let's get back to the kvetching and kvelling.
Let's kvetch a little. I'm going right into my kvetch, okay?
Because I've already kvetched, even though mine don't count as my kvetch.
Okay.
Right?
No,
they're not
they're
not my official kvetches.
We don't have to count them. You still have two. So I was reading an email the other day, and I was very much enjoying this email from this guy, marketer. I really honestly don't even remember who it was. I'm subscribed to his newsletter, and it was really pretty good. And then we get to like paragraph 3, and he starts off with how he's bullish on whatever, bullish on AI, bullish on email, bullish on whatever. And I just was like, ugh, yuck. It's like, you're not a Wall Street guy. You're a marketer, and like, it just felt very contrived. And I hear people use it outside of the investment world and the financial world, and I just don't like it. I'm sure it's just me, but I just think it's sad. It's like the same way people are using like a lot of like neuroscience. A lot of marketers will talk about neuroscience. And I think it's fine to allude to a study. Of course it is, right? Like, but for you to just start rapping about, the brain and the frontal lobe and the cortex and the frontal, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just think it makes me gag a little bit. I'm just like, don't try to be somebody that you're not. It's okay. Marketers are important.
Well, you don't like it because it's fake.
Thank you.
And humans don't like things that are fake. We don't. I mean, that's what that whole article was about with this whole AI. People don't like things that they perceive as fake.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. It's like a Kabbalah concept that we are drawn to things that are authentic and real.
I 100% believe that to be true, but I didn't know that was a Kabbalah concept.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Give me a kvetch.
Okay. So my kvetch also has to do with emails.
Has to do with what?
Emails.
Oh, okay. Bring it on.
All right. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that I get emails literally every single day that my team has to filter out, either asking if they can come on my podcast or if I will participate in their summit.
Mm-hmm.
And they're always act like they're doing me such a favor by gracing me with their presence and their invitation. And this is more than just a kvetch. This is a lesson for all the listeners about like, I'm going to dissect what is wrong with what it is that they're doing so that you listening can understand what to do instead. Right? Don't you think that's like also the point of this? And like,
absolutely.
Here we are. Okay. So first of all, there is the very fake ChatGPT sounding email. Hi, I hope this email finds you well. Now, apparently, other people told me that they do start emails that way, but I never in my life started an email that way until ChatGPT came out. And it's like they always tell you to start the emails that way. Have you found that, Jen? Did you ever start an email with, I hope this email finds you? Did.
Back in my corporate days, I used to always start my emails like that.
So that's a corporate thing?
I mean, I guess, but that is what I would do.
Okay. Well,
always
all right.
Hope this email finds you well. It's just because, yeah.
Okay. Well. Whenever I see that, I'm like, this sounds so fake.
But I don't do it anymore just because it's like, it's unnecessary.
I'm getting emails that start that way from people I don't know. So then It's like, what do you mean you hope this email finds me? Well, who are you? So the one that really irritated me that you already know about was signed by a woman named Liz, no last name. I hope this
Liz,
email...
if you're listening, Liz.
She's not listening.
Note.
I have no idea who she is. She didn't put her last name. We actually did some research because I do know Liz's. I know some Liz's. Is it a Liz I know?
Is it Lizzo? I mean,
no, it's not. So we're like, what, from her email handle, my team went to her website to find out if this is someone I actually know who like you're the only one who can sign their email, Jen or Kay.
Or if you're Madonna or Lizzo, one name is fine.
If I don't know you, don't sign it with the first name. This is how an email needs to start. Hi, this is how I know you, and this is how you know me. Okay, so if you don't know me, it's like, hi, I've been following your podcast forever, whatever. Okay, say something. You don't know me yet, and then introduce yourself. That this Liz person never introduced herself, like just assumed, I don't know, assumed I knew who she was. I don't know. How am I supposed to know who she is? There's no last name there. So then Liz, the next thing you need to say, so first thing is need to be like, what is your connection with this person? And hopefully you are connected with them before you're reaching out in some way. And the next thing needs to say, what's in it for them? What's in it? You're writing to Miriam Schulman, what's in it for me? I need to know that first. What's in it for me? I know that it'd be great for you to come on my podcast and promote you and your art and your tie-dye denim shirts. I know that would be a great opportunity for you. How is this going to help my podcast? How is this going to help my listeners? Right?
I mean, I don't think you do this. Well, maybe you do, but I've picked up a few people for my podcasts from cold outreach emails like that when they list exactly what they can talk about that will benefit my audience. So if they give me some really great hooks, like I can teach your audience, I can talk about this and this and this. And it's never about their journey, right? Like I don't care about their journey from, rags to riches. Right. I care about them telling my listeners how they can go from rags to riches, you know what I mean? Or whatever. But the point is they position it that way. And I have brought some really good guests on the show who wrote a cold outreach, but they were, so you're exactly right. Like what's in it for me and my listeners, not your benefit or your amazing credentials.
Right. We don't care how amazing you are. So here would be an email that would land for me. I'm just making this up. Hey, Miriam, I don't think you know who I am. I'm Julie, the founder of whatever. Okay. I've been listening to your podcast for a long time. And one thing I don't hear you talk about is how artists can use Patreon. I've been using Patreon and it's generated X $1,000s for me a year.
Yes.
And I'd be happy to come onto your show to share with your listeners how they can use Patreon too. See, that would land with me because I've never had somebody come onto the podcast to talk about that. And that's something that would be interesting to my listeners. That would get my attention.
Love it. Yes. 100% agree.
Yeah. Or there's also part 2 of the kvetching is the summit email. The summit. You want to?
Yeah, go. Well, since we're talking about summits.
You can kvetch it too.
No, I've got my kvetches.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. I mean, a lot of my listeners don't know what summits are. I know your listeners would. I was trying to explain to my team, like the person who mainly benefits from a summit is the one running it because everyone opts into their email list. And I have a huge email list. I have over 20,000 people. So Liz is actually, she came to me, we're going to have a summit and we're requiring everyone to have 3,000 people each. I was like, okay, well, I have a huge audience. Getting in front of your 3,000 people, I can run a Facebook ad and get in front of more people than that with like maybe $200 and a lot less work. So, yeah, I don't know. That's all I have to say about that.
I mean, well, I'll tell you, my thing with summits, especially, my email list wasn't big, even in the early days. What I started to notice was, so I think what's really important if you're going to invite people onto a summit is to let them know, again, what's in it for them beyond just like email subscribers.
Yes. Beyond being part of the summit. So my example, like if someone came to me with a summit invitation and said, hey, Miriam, I know you have a huge audience and I can't really promise you that. However, I can do this for you. So it would be, I know you're trying to promote your book and I'm buying 25 copies for my coaching program.
Love that.
Boom. Tell me what you're going to do for me. Not that it has to be a tit for tat.
Right.
But, or maybe you already did do something for me. Like you may not follow me, but I made your book, the book club selections, or whatever, my Amazon store. I don't know what you did for me or going to do for me. But yeah. Did I interrupt you? Yeah, I did.
No, it's fine. No, that's a really good point that needed to be made. I was just saying that like early on, before I even had a big audience, I made the mistake of going and doing a couple of summits that I was not aligned with in principle. Okay. I didn't know the other guests that this person was going to have on. So there I am on the little marquee that they put all over social media. And I'm next to some people, quite honestly, I just don't want to be affiliated with. Not because they weren't popular or famous, but because the things they talked about and did just were not in alignment with my own personal values.
Yeah.
And there it was out there in the universe. So I think it's very important to also let them know who is going to be there. Maybe there's, big headliners. Maybe that alone is enough for me to join the summit. If I think, hey, it will benefit me to have my name on a marquee next to this big name or whatever. I don't know. You made the point.
I mean, that's why we did Teresa's.
Yes.
Summit.
Amy Porterfield and Mike Hyatt were in it. Yeah.
And I will tell you how she approached it way differently than everybody else. So first of all, we did have a relationship. So it wasn't a cold outreach. We had already done a podcast swap. So we had already done that whole thing. But what she did was she didn't just send me an email, hey, I'm doing a summit. Will you be a part of it? She said, hey, Miriam, it's been a while since I spoke to you. Why don't we catch up? Here's my 15-minute chat link. Now, this is only going to work if you have a relationship with somebody. If you're cold outreaching, that is definitely the wrong approach.
Right.
But what she did was she made me feel that she cared about me as a person before going to what I could do for her.
And she legitimately, same here, and we are friends too. And it was it was like a really nice catch up because we haven't spoken in a while, right?
That's right.
Yes, she had an agenda, but it's okay. Like we get it, we get it.
Yes, exactly. It was fine.
Let's hear from artist Mary Forbes about her experience inside the Artist Incubator.
From a business perspective, and just the whole program is probably one of the best programs out there for artists. It covers everything. You're so genuine in the information. You don't hide anything. Giving. I did want to say, I've been in a lot of startups. I've done a lot of startup businesses. 1, 2, 3, 4, and helping them get from A to B to C to D. This is probably the most complete program for creatives to help them develop their business. I've had to work with startups where I've had to figure things out, but you've got it all figured out for them. So it's kind of a plug and play. There's a lot of giving and caring and wanting people to succeed and sharing.
And now, let's get back to the inspiration place.
All right, here's my other Kvetch. We got to talk about Mr. Jay Shetty.
Okay.
So I never was a follower of his, but I do, now that I've been researching after hearing the news, I can see why people would follow him. He's charismatic. He's quite easy in the eyes. He's got that cute accent, which of course we Americans give so much credence to. It's like you're automatically, we legitimize you if you've got like that nice cute accent. But yeah, so for those of you who don't know, there was a journalist who was asked to do a piece for Esquire magazine, and they wanted him to do a piece on Jay Shetty. They thought it was going to be more of a fluff piece. But this particular journalist, when he started researching, found so many anomalies that he was like, this is weird. I'm finding things that, and he said, the author said, I heard him on a podcast. He was like, these things were just out there for anybody to find. So he's like, I don't know why, I'm the one that ended up really bringing this to the forefront. But in short, it was discovered that there's many things about Jay Shetty that show that he has been untruthful about his credentials and so forth. For example, his $7,000 program that gives you a credential, I guess, by going through it as a life coach or something like that. He had on his sales page that he was affiliated with a couple of very prestigious universities. I don't remember or organizations. I don't remember exactly what they were, but let's say like one was the London School of Economics or something like that. Turns out journalist reaches out to both the institutions. They're like, we have no idea who this guy is. We are not affiliated with him in any way. And that has since come down off of his sales page. And his origin story is way, way off. He said he spent 3 years at an ashram in India. He did spend 3 years in an ashram, but it was like in California, I think. And he was Hare Krishna, but he completely left that out. Nothing against Hare Krishnas. I'm just saying he deliberately did leave that out. And then finally, loads and loads of reports of plagiarism and so forth. So yeah, that's my kvetch because, we put these people up on pedestals and, even Facebook uses him brings him on stage. They won't now, but they bring him out on stage as like the golden boy who used Facebook ads to, blow up his business. But he actually was so interesting. He got the word out about his business and himself through the religious sect that he was a part of, because he was like a leader within that Hare Krishna group or whatever. So he kind of put it out there for them to blow it up, and there were a lot of young people, I think, so anyway.
I have so much to say about this. I'm dying.
It's just a bummer. All right, well, go. I'm done. That's it.
Okay. So first of all, when he came out with that book, I was like, well, that's really weird that somebody would give him a book, because the last I had heard of him before that, our good friend Patty Lennon had pulled to my attention that he was getting called out by YouTubers about how he would go on to whatever it was, Instagram, YouTube. I don't remember where he was then. We didn't have TikTok then. And he would say a Mark Twain quote, but pretend he wrote it, type of thing.
So he was doing, Angelou, yeah.
He was doing plagiarism.
No, that was Rachel Peterson. Rachel
back.
Hollis.
He was doing plagiarism. So I was so surprised that a publisher would publish him, because I was like, okay, I guess you can get away with plagiarism now. That's what my thought was when I saw him up there. And by the way, I don't know if I ever told you this. So my mother's brother, my uncle, he was Hare Krishna, and he was the Hare Krishna in the movie Hannah and Her Sisters. Did you ever see that movie?
Oh God, ages ago.
Yeah. So Woody Allen's going to search and find himself, and he speaks to the Hare Krishna, and it's my uncle playing himself.
No way. Now I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. So I went to see the movie in high school with my girlfriends, and I knew that it was my uncle, and I was trying to tell them it was my uncle. And then my friend's like, Miriam, we know that you're upset that your uncle's Hare Krishna, but that's not your uncle. I was like, no, actually it
really is.
It really is. It is him,
I did see that movie. It was so long ago. So I'm going to watch it again. That's wild. I mean, but here's the thing we also should say, because, he still has a huge following. And I don't think it's going to be like a Rachel Hollis situation where overnight he's canceled. I mean, he wasn't
canceled back then. That's why I was like, nothing happened. He's still here. He got away with that. So
I think eventually, I think the numbers will dwindle because people just don't like being taken for a sucker, right? But I will say that if, whomever's listening is a Jay Shetty follower, has been helped by any of his teachings or his whatever, I think that's great. Just because all of this is true, it can also be true that he has shared things of value to people. You know what I mean? So no judgment at all. And
no,
I don't
we can judge.
We can judge a little. We can judge a little. I know I am judging. I'm judging him, but no judgment on them. No judgment on them for being inspired by him or growing, being able to grow in an area they weren't able to grow in before, because both things can be true. He can be a fraud, but he can also share things he could have put things out there in the world that have value. And, so I don't think and also look at our attention span anymore. Look at some of the really, truly horrible things people have done, and they just bounce back like nothing ever happened, and they're rich again, and they've got huge followings. It's really weird. Okay, I've got a Kvell.
Okay, but we're not done talking about.
Okay, let's more. What?
Okay, no, I just want to add my commentary. So he's basically the George Santos of the influencer world. Oh my God.
No, he's not that bad. I mean, come on. George Santos is no, Jay Shetty is not George. I mean, he wasn't. So, because here's the thing, he wasn't at an ashram in India for 3 years, but he was at an ashram. Okay. He was
it kind of if George Santos played volleyball, even though is that what you're saying?
No, you're right. There was George Santos's stories were completely fabricated out of thin air and were so fantastical and ridiculous that it's jaw dropping. He would craft things completely out of thin air. It wasn't hyperbole. It was. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I think I think Jay Shetty, it was lots of exaggeration and self-aggrandizement and all of this stuff. But it was based on, there was a kernel of that's true. George Santos, complete lie, complete imposter, really complete. Oh my God, that's a whole nother show. That guy, there's got to be a movie coming out about him, and I hope I hope they get someone really good to play him.
I remember when we were in Las Vegas and one of the speakers, you were like, this person should have imposter syndrome. It was like,
why? Wait, what were they doing?
I don't know. You were just
was it a man or a woman?
I don't remember. It doesn't matter. It's like you just felt like they had no right to be talking about what they were talking about. It was like,
I wish I remembered who that was, but that does sound like something I would say. Not that I'm mean, but Okay, so my Kvell, my other one is stickermule.com. So stickermule.com, if you get on their email list, because they'll send you deals, but like I'm on their website right now and I'm clicking on the deals, and you could get 50 circle stickers for $19. That would normally be $68. But here's the thing about Sticker Mule is that they are so high quality. You can get like vinyl stickers that like adhere to, sometimes I'll buy like Yeti tumblers or coffee mugs, and then I'll get my logo sticker and put them on there, and they will never come off. They don't come up in the washing machine. They're like vinyl stickers.
That's cool.
I had a one-on-one with a client recently who has this great book, but when she wrote the book, it's a self-published book, and she's a personal stylist, and it's a great little book. But when she published the book, she really wasn't thinking about promoting her website or putting links to anything. She had kind of forgotten. And so she's going to run another 100 books to get published, and because we have a whole new way that she's going to use the books in business. So she's going to order from Sticker Mule everything that she wants to say. She'll probably have like a QR code on there and her logo and her link to her website and all of that, and stick it smack in the inside cover. A million things you could do with these stickers. I just love them.
Yeah. Let's talk about a few things for my artists listening. Other than you selling them, we're not telling you to sell stickers for $4. So don't.
No.
That's not a business model.
Thank you.
It's like, okay. So some things that I've used stickers for in the past, and that you don't need vinyl ones to do this, but I always, whenever I packaged up my prints or my original art, I always like to get kind of the fragile art sticker where I would create it myself to match kind of my aesthetic. So the fragile and the do not bend, those were the two ones I would stick on my packaging, and they matched each other, and it kind of matched my branding and made it look really sexy and cool. How else do you use it?
I have used them as for the podcast. Like I've gotten my podcast stickers, my podcast logo on stickers, and then just including them in any kind of snail mail that I send out.
I like putting them on water bottles and things like that. That's a good idea too.
Because they are that high quality. And then, I'll seal envelopes with them whenever I have a new client. I have a few different kinds of stickers. And you could get die cut stickers as well. Those are really, really great. So I don't know. I love a good sticker. That. So
me too. I'm decorating my laptop with stickers and also my planner with stickers.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
My last several laptops have been just completely collaged with stickers. And then I realized I'm 55 years old and I look like I'm 19 with this laptop covered in stickers. So
I love stickers. Let's embrace our inner middle school. Or
I mean, yeah,
not just the mean girl side that we've
right. We kind of have been today. We've been a little bit mean girl today, and
a little.
Hopefully, we don't get canceled. Speaking of cancellation.
All right, so I had the Kvetch. I have another Kvetch, but should I go to Kvell, or do we?
Yeah, let's Kvell? Cleanse our palate with another Kvell.
Another Kvell. I don't think I need to do the second Kvetch. I'll save the second Kvetch for a different podcast episode. We'll do this again. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So my Kvell is I want to talk about the pods that I introduced to my Artist Incubator membership site. Did I tell you about that?
Yes. Oh, yes. Because you told me about it, but I need to hear it again because I'm going to copy it. I think it's such a good idea.
No, you should definitely copy it. And anyone who has a membership site, definitely copy this. And this is just so anyone who's not in my membership site, I'll tell you the purpose, why I did this. So I have a membership site because I know I'm talking to Jen's audience too. I have a membership site for artists. There's about 140 people in there. And they get me twice a month. I have a Facebook group, but they really don't have a good way for them to talk to each other. And we did have accountability buddies, but it's hard for accountability buddies because you get matched up and sometimes your accountability buddy just kind of like peters out for whatever reason. And Jen, you know how it is whenever we've tried to do like some sort of peer support group. The hardest part about it is getting a group of people to commit to the same time every week and sending the reminders.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that my people would really benefit from having that kind of accountability and being able to talk to each other. So what I did was I bought an extra Zoom link. So this is legitimately only cost me $16 a month. That's the only cost really that this whole thing has had. And then I have an Acuity account already. So the Acuity I use to schedule my one-on-ones. But what I did was I created a calendar, a second calendar on Acuity, and we created classes. So meaning every Tuesday at 11 a.m. ET, this pod is going to meet. And we gave the link to the people in the incubator for them to choose whatever time slot works best for them. So what was beautiful about this is that we took care of the hardest part for them. So they decide what time works best for them, and they're committed to that for the rest of the year, 11 a.m. on Tuesday, if that's what they signed up for. And we send out the reminders to everyone in their pod every week. So they get the reminders, they get the Zoom link, and then we even put together a Google Doc with a suggested structure of how to run it. Do you have any questions so far? I don't want to like be lectury about this.
No. I'm following.
Okay. And the other thing that we did was, I forget what I wanted to say. Okay. So the very first week that we had it, I did have Anna, my assistant, pop in at the beginning of each of the pods. And we're not going to do it after the first week. And she says, hey, these are the people who are in your pod. And we suggested they elect a team captain that they can rotate. Let us know who it is. If the people in the pod, they can't make it, they let the team captain know, not us. So there really are self-managed pods.
Love that. And how's it going so far?
They love it. And we're getting so many emails. Thank you so much for setting this up. This is awesome. I love the people in my pod. Yeah, I'm excited to see where this is going to go. So we've only had the first full week. And then we're figuring out how we're going to open up more pods after the next enrollment period.
I love it because it speaks to so many pain points on both sides. You know, it's hard to scale yourself. People want more of you, but there's only one Miriam, you know, and so, but people want more human time and they want, you know, and so this allows you to provide more of that without it really costing you any more time and effort. I mean, $16 a month is a small price to pay to be able to facilitate such a valuable thing.
Yeah. And then we have the pods. There's 5 people in a pod. Almost all of them are filled. I think there's one pod that has 3 people in it and another that has 3 people in it. So, you know, when we're next enrollment period, I'm sure those will fill up and we'll start the new ones.
Will you, in the next enrollment period, would you maybe do like a scramble so that people could then give people the option to change pods?
You know, I don't want to do that because I'm worried about people not being able to get into a pod that works for them.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I set up this initial go round is I actually put a poll inside my Facebook group and I said, okay, you know, vote for, you know, how polls work. So just like you can check off all the times that you could do, not committed, but could do. And then what I did was I took all that data and I dumped it into ChatGPT. And I said, you know, Tuesday at 11 a.m., these 11 people can make it. Wednesday at 11 a.m., these are the 14 people who can make it. And there were some overlap, right? And I put it all into ChatGPT and I said, distribute everybody into a pod, only 1 pod per week. And make sure that there's at least 2 people in a pod. Like nobody should be by themselves, no more than 5 people. So I gave ChatGPT all the rules. And that's what ChatGPT is best at, following. Like at first I started doing it myself and I was like, wait, this is dumb. This is exactly what the robots are for.
Yes,
so, right.
I love
and then
that.
Love it. Out the assignments. So then what I did was, let's say they said, well, the way it would distribute the best is these 5 people here, these 5 people there, these 5 people on this other date. So what we did was we reached out to each person and said on a Monday and said, hey, you had priority registration for Tuesdays at 11. Here's the link. And that link we initially gave them was only for that time. I said, if you don't have to commit to this, we will be opening more up on Wednesday. That's when we're opening registration for all of them. But this is your best shot of getting a time that works for you. So then a lot of them were already kind of populated. And then on that Wednesday, we sent the generic link to everyone in the incubator. But it really helped distribute it so that people weren't stuck where they were shut out of the only time that they could do.
Are you giving them cues or prompts rather to talk about in their pods?
Yeah. So what they get in their reminder emails through Acuity, it always links to a Google Doc. And in the Google Doc, it has, these are the best practices and these are the prompts that you can use. They don't have to follow the prompts because, they can decide, you know what, every week we're going to, whatever. It's up to them. I
love that. But that way, in case it is awkward and there's crickets or everybody's kind of fumbling, it gives them some sort of structure. I love that. That's such a good idea. Can you give me an example of a prompt? Does anything come to mind?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll just, I'm going to just pull up my Google Doc. I'll just tell you exactly what's in it. I mean, basically, I modeled it after what I do inside my inner circle. So it's kind of like a DIY inner circle for them.
That's cool.
Okay. So first of all, we give them at your first pod meeting. We tell them elect a captain, designate a timekeeper, and make sure everyone introduces themselves. And then we have responsibilities for the pod captain and responsibilities for the member. If you can't make a meeting, contact your pod captain. All right. So what we have is share top 3 wins for the week, share their challenges and roadblocks. Everybody mind meld to help them solve their problems, and then commit to what they're going to be doing before their next meeting. And then we give them apps to help them, like Phantom or the Timer app. We links to how to set that up.
Love that.
So, hair flip.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's really, really good. We could have made just that like the podcast episode,
Oh, we totally could have.
So that's
now they'll listen to us again because they know we're giving them value instead of just
we're not just here
the whole
bitching.
time.
Yeah, which we also did not define Kvetch and Kvell.
No, we didn't. I thought about that at the beginning. So it's kind of like if you get it, you get it. But now if you didn't get it, we will define it for you. So these are Yiddish words. Do you know what they mean? I just kind of know. You know how sometimes you know what a word means, but you don't know what the definition is?
Yeah, I don't know the exact definition.
I don't either.
Other than
ask ChatGPT.
Well, we could definitely do that, but we can deduce that Kvetch is, you're complaining, and Kvell is you're kvelling. Way to define the word, Jen. You're gushing. You're like you love something, so you Kvell.
Okay, so the nice thing about Yiddish is that it very much is like onomatopoeia. It the words do sound what they mean.
Yep.
Okay, Kvell is a Yiddish term expressing great pride and joy, often used regarding the accomplishments or happiness of a family member or loved one. Of course, but are we using it for loved ones or ourselves? What was your Kvell? No, your Kvell was about the public library.
Yeah, and and stickers.
And stickers. Okay.
It works. I think Kvetch.
Okay, Kvetch. Kvetch is a Yiddish word meaning to complain or gripe about something in a chronic, whining manner.
Well, we might have also accomplished that.
We definitely did.
Look, we could do a whole show with just kvetching, right? But Miriam and I figured no, we can't, no one wants to just hear 100% negativity. So we hope that everyone
They will let us know what they think. So,
This is true.
You can Kvetch and Kvell about the show. Here's how you can do it. You can either, if you're listening to this on one of our websites, there's a comment section underneath. You can DM us over on Instagram. I'm at Schulmanart, SCHULMANART. And Jen, what is your handle on Instagram?
JEN_LEHNER.
Yeah. Or you can leave a review of the podcast.
But only if it's 5 stars. Please. Thank you.
I'd like to leave an honest negative review.
On Miriam's podcast.
It's fine. Then we'll complain about them later. Like the risk
you'll
they
be on the
take.
next show.
That's right. You'll be on the next show. All right, my friends. Thank you so much for being with me here today. We'll see you the same time, same place next week. Until then, stay inspired.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Inspiration Place podcast. Connect with us on Facebook at facebook.com/SchulmanArt, on Instagram @SchulmanArt, and of course on schulmanart.com.